day, my son, who is in grade 2, came home with this. Treat others the way you would like to be treated. Make someone else feel good. Help those who need help. And that is what this amazing profession called orthodontics has to offer. We're going to spend the next few minutes talking about the value of helping others and setting your orthodontic practice the practice of choice. I am Lori William with Strategix. Strategix provides orthodontic offices practice management services to help them maximize their practice potential and be the best that they can be. I am dedicated to lifelong learning so I can be the best that I can be. I strive to inject an element of fun and positive emotion to help the people around me have reason to smile. I labor for the creativity, courage, and persistence required to achieve my goals. I crave the reward of serving and helping others and take every opportunity to experience. I endeavor to lead by example. The value of the patient. Has anybody read Jeffrey Gitomer's books? He is recognized as the world's leading customer service and sales expert. I read and study his material because I believe in his material. You may find some similarities with our presentation, and I don't reference him all the time. Who is your boss? Who pays your salary, provides you the money you use to eat and feed your family, drive your car, and go on vacation? No, it's the patient. I know this is the doctor's practice. I know the money is in the doctor's account, and I know the money is paid to the doctor. But where is the money coming from? Because that is who pays the bills. How do you handle this relationship? We really need to understand that we are in the service industry. We all have the same boss. He pays our bills, he buys our car, he pays for us to go on vacation, and so on. He is the one boss that we need to have absolute respect for. Unfortunately, we get caught up in the broken brackets, the poor oral hygiene, the phone calls, and we lose sight of how important this relationship is to your practice. Do we all know who our boss is? Right, it's the patients. I'm going to ask another question. What happens when you go to a restaurant and the service is terrible? If my server doesn't recognize that my tip is the money that they buy their food with when I get lousy service, they're going to get a very little tip. But more importantly, I may never go back. So we need to remember how we feel when we get lousy service over a $100 or $200 dinner tab. Think how patients feel when they go into your orthodontic practice and they receive lousy service and their bill is $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. I like to talk numbers because numbers seems to make sense to everybody. So if your practice loses 2 patients a month because the patients came into your office and they were treated terrible, or they received lousy service and they chose not to come back to your office, well, that turns out to be about $13,000 in production of that month that you've missed out on. Over a year, that works out to about $140,000 a year. Over 10 years, that works out to over $1 million in production. But if we're to flip that around and you got an extra 2 patients a month because you treated your patients like they are your boss and they are signing your paychecks, that works out to an extra $13,000 a month in your production, $140,000 over 10 years, over 10 years, over $1 million of production. Pretty powerful. But I'll tell you another thing, if you are treating your patients like they do sign your paychecks, You are also going to get their friends and their family and their neighbors referred to your practice because of the service that they received. Powerful. So now we understand the value of the patient. So let's quickly put it into perspective of how we need to treat the patient. So I'm going to ask you another question. When you are with a patient, who is the most important person in the world? Okay, I'm going to ask that a different way. If it was you and a patient left in the office and the office was on fire and one of you could be rescued, would you offer that patient to go first? Alright, so we've established that you think you're the most important person in the world. I think I'm the most important person in the world. And that's how we all think. So our job is to recognize that the patient thinks like they're the most important person in the world, and we need to treat them like this. It's a message I obviously have some passion about, and I want to start all my presentations with this message just to make sure that we're on the same page. Now we're going to move into new patient conversions.